Come on, Zane. Come on, Zane.
You get your ligaments torn. I'm a ghetto born baby that was raised to blaze. Haters for showing crooked ways. Far from saints and clubs they drink. Stomp you out like Kirk Franklin. Keep a sack of that dank to help me think. Got a habit of flossing, shot calling and trash talking. Went through every major city with my dogs barking and barking. Realest players put it down. Game is much, much stronger now.
What up guys, Ali here, and welcome to the channel. Now before I get started, make sure to add me on IG at Ali Talks Music, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. In the early 2000s, Ice Cube, Mike Epps, and John Witherspoon starred in the sequel to 1995's Friday. Despite receiving negative reviews, the film was a massive success, making $59.8 million over an $11 million budget. Next Friday was not the only noteworthy aspect of the franchise. A soundtrack from Priority Records was also born, which featured a track called Money Stretch from an up-and-coming rapper called Lil Zane. Zane R. Copeland Jr., popularly known as Lil Zane, was born on July 11, 1982, and began taking his music career seriously at the age of 10 when he was inspired by Another Bad Creation and Criss Cross. Having met Tupac at the age of 12 or 13 and hearing the greatest rapper of all time say to him, "He reminds me of me," was a huge boost to his ego and inspired him to make music for the long run. Growing up as the oldest of 4 children, his father was a sales agent who had an amazing taste in music. While his mom was working 2 to 3 jobs at a time, he, his brother, and his cousin stayed at home and rehearsed every new song that came out. He had a lot of support from his parents, and his first performance stage had to be the nail salon, where his mom would take him along and he would perform in front of the ladies getting their hair done. Lil Zane recounts how his brother and cousin would be so scared to come out in front of the ladies, but he was not. That built his confidence.
It started with my mom. My mom used to take me to the hair salon with her, and I would perform for the ladies in the hair salon. So all these beautiful ladies getting their hair done, and I'm in there just acting a fool. But that's when I learned like I wasn't shy.
His dad, Big Zane, was his first manager and the first most influential male figure in his life. The second was Tupac. Drawing inspiration from his father and Tupac, Lil Zane was able to develop a rap career in the long run and made a small impact on the music game. However, as of late, he isn't as popular as he once was. So the question is, what happened to Lil Zane? Lil Zane first got signed by RCA Records in 1993 when he and his group Chronic, which was made up of himself, his brother Michael, and his cousin Eric Green, came second in a music competition and received a record deal from RCA Records.
They used to do these big talent shows around Atlanta. And we end up in a talent show with Usher Raymond, and we end up getting second place and getting signed to RCA Records. So that's how the whole Chronic thing came about.
He was 11 at the time and decided to take his musical career to the next level. Now, after a couple of years of being at RCA Records, their deal came crashing down after a few years of inactivity with the label. Around 1996, Chronic did not have a home anymore, but Lil Zane did not stop pursuing his dreams. Lil Zane went on with his writing and performing and went solo in 1999. However, his big break came when he went touring with 112, which put him in a position to record the song anywhere. The sales of the song were plentiful, and Lil Zane was on the rise. During this time, he began recording his first album, Young World, The Future. When the album came out, it had massive success. It featured his first single called Money Stretch, which was on the Next Friday soundtrack, and his popular single called Calling Me. Initially, Young World The Future hit the Billboard Top 200 at number 165. At this point, a lot of people were counting this album out. However, in the second week, the album saw a massive surge as it went to number 25 on the Billboard 200. With the success that Lil Zane was achieving, he also started making appearances in movies, appearing in Dr. Dolittle 2, The Parkers, and 1-on-1. Interestingly enough, the director of his Money Stretch video, Steve Carls, was also the director of Dr. Dolittle 2. That's how he got his first movie role as Eric. After refusing to be a part of Diddy and Bad Boy Records, he decided to stay back with his manager and promote the launch of his record label. However, over time, he started paying more attention to his movie deals and movie roles, because his music career was starting to sink. According to him, acting became the only way that he could get his money at the time. The record label kept holding back a lot of his projects and making his work seem irrelevant. I think Diddy respected that. Don't make stupid decisions when you grow up, kids. Don't make decisions with your heart. Make them with your mind. Lil Zane mentioned a time when he attended an album signing of the label and his album was not there at the event. This brought regrets, as he said that he wished he had learned more about the music industry before getting into it. But by the time this was all happening, it was too late, and he was already being taken advantage of by the label. After a lot of back and forth, Lil Zane joined Party Records under the management of Andrew Shack at the time. With a lot of offers coming in, the contract signed with Party Records gave him the kind of liberty he thought he needed, with a deal worth more than $15 million. With a new deal, it was finally time for Lil Zane to show and prove, and he released his second album called The Big Zane Theory. Unlike his first album, which got better over time, The Big Zane Theory was a massive flop, coming in at number 191 on the Billboard 200 and selling about 6,000 copies in the first week. To date, the album has sold about 40,000 copies and is never mentioned in hip-hop conversations. The album's first single was a track called Tonight I'm Yours. However, as you can tell, the single was a massive flop as well, peaking at number 87 on the Hot R&B Hip-Hop Songs chart. So what went wrong? With his second album, The Big Zane Theory, a lot of people assumed that he had changed his name from Lil Zane to just Zane, so the record label thought it would be a good idea to just change his name to Zane. This was a huge problem when people went searching for his album in stores. They would search under the L category and they wouldn't find anything. Aside from the issues going on with his name change, the record label that he was with got bought out by Capitol. And with the new projects and changes that come with a new record label, new projects were being prioritized by the label, while he was pushed at the bottom of the pack. And according to him, only 30,000 copies of his album were printed up by the label. His album was so scarce that he would go to a record signing and his album was nowhere to be found. This put a huge damper in the success of Lil Zane, and after that, he found it very difficult to recover and take back his position in the game. Now around 2008, there was a brief ray of sunshine in Lil Zane's life, as he made a brief return to the music game. When he returned, a lot of people saw it as a joke and felt like he came back with way too much hate, especially considering his career was not going anywhere. Lil Zane's comeback into the music game came alongside some real downfalls, with people questioning his talent and ability to really hold down his own in the game. This was evident in the release of his mixtape, The Missing Link, where he made mention of people dissing him in his songs. After 9 years of being away from the scene, it seemed almost impossible for Lil Zane to receive hate from other people in the industry, but the game and Tyler the Creator proved otherwise. Lil Zane dropped his own version of Niggas in Paris in response and didn't hold back on calling out Tyler the Creator when he said, "I'm the creator, f*** Ty." He further explained that line by saying, "Why are you mad about that? You basically saying you Lil Zane anyways. So basically like, f*** myself. I'm not who I really am. I wanna be Lil Zane." Lil Zane claimed he had no idea Tyler was anything other than an over-obsessed fan when it all started. When Lil Zane created his Twitter account at Lil Zane's World, he started seeing another account called @Tyler constantly making mention of him, saying, "I'm looking for Lil Zane." Lil Zane responded to the account and said, "What's Gucci?" Soon after that, videos started popping up with Tyler saying stuff like, "Hey, I'm Lil Zane, and you can catch a fade with Lil Zane." Lil Zane felt like Tyler was taking things too far because Tyler kept mentioning Lil Zane's name. So instead of tweeting back and forth, Lil Zane decided to respond back in a freestyle. Now, according to Lil Zane, the only reason that he fired back at Tyler the Creator is because Tyler fired first. First of all I wanna say, I never did a diss record in my life. It was a response record, and the reason why I recorded it was basically just standing up for myself. But really, there is no beef. I did what any other man would have done. I'm not a troublemaker. I don't go around starting things, but I do defend myself. And if someone tries to degrade my character or my craft, the way I was raised up, my pops taught me if someone hits you, you hit back. If someone talks about you, you talk about them back. You stand up for yourself. So that's what it was. So the next thing was, I started seeing videos and stuff coming out. Stuff on YouTube with him saying, "Hey, I'm Lil Zane, And you can catch a fade with Lil Zane. Whatever he would say, he would like always bring my name into it. Whatever he was talking about, it had nothing to do with me at all. And he would just find a way to put my name in there. Say I'm Lil Zane or whatever. But it's like, basically if you saying you Lil Zane, then you saying f yourself. Now apart from having beef with Tyler the Creator, Lil Zane also had issues with the game. Now during an interview with Vlad TV, the game got to speak about his wackest rappers of all time. And surprise surprise, Lil Zane made the list. The game felt like Lil Zane was a good guy, but behind it all, he did not have any bars.
Wackest rappers. We gonna start off with, let's say, Lil Zane.
Lil Zane.
He gotta come in at number 5. Lil Zane is a good dude. You know what I'm saying? He a good dude, but rapping, it's the rap skill.
Yeah, remember he was doing a Tupac thing at one point? He was trying to really kind of find himself.
Man. Yeah, man. He flipped, he turned the rag around, but it's all good because Zane was the homie. He was out in Cali, you know, like a long time ago, early stage of my career, man. But you know, I was never a fan of Lil Zane.
Lil Zane decided to use the Niggas in Paris beat to go at the game as well. The rap game is my basketball court. Rap is my sport. So when I heard the track, I saw my basketball court. The in Paris track was my basketball court. I saw a court and I'm like, fuck it. I'ma go in on these right now to show him I still got it and they can't see me in the booth. Now it seems like the game isn't the only G-Unit member that suffered Lil Zane's wrath. Lil Zane also had issues with Young Buck as well. According to Lil Zane, 50 should not have signed Young Buck to G-Unit because, to put it bluntly, Young Buck is not a good rapper. Yo, he's garbage. He's garbage. He's garbage though. I don't think he's a good rapper. He might be a good person, but you know, he probably feels the same way about me. So the feeling's mutual, you know? But I don't think he's the best rapper. I think I would have made 50 a little bit more money. I think 50 needs to sign me, man. I think it needs to be 50 and 60 Cent or something. Because I'm more like 60 Cent. You know what I'm saying? Now when Lil Zane said all of this, I remember thinking, what are you even talking about, Lil Zane? Nobody thinks he would make a great addition to G-Unit. Because as far as we know it, G-Unit is a group that came up together. And seeing as Lil Zane wasn't there from the start or near the start, then he probably would not have made a great addition to the group. According to Zane, his problems with Young Buck started a long time ago. More specifically, it started when Buck dropped a line about him on Beg for Mercy that goes, "Just cause I like ice, don't compare me to Lil Wayne. I make rap disappear like Lil Zane." Evidently, Lil Zane did not like the line. Around 2018, Meek Mill released his Championships album. The album has a track called Respect the Game, which has a line similar to Young Buck's that goes, "F the fame, we millionaires. F your watch and little chain. Niggas disappear as quick as Lil Zane. You feeling yourself? I know you got a little lane." Like any struggling rapper waiting to make a comeback, Lil Zane's ears must have perked up a little bit when Meek Mill, a more relevant rapper, mentioned his name, because he made sure to talk about Meek Mill in interviews after that. Now it seems like Lil Zane was very hurt when Meek went at him. He felt like Meek was just trying to kick him when he was down, and clearly felt like that line was unwarranted. Clearly Lil Zane is all about rap beef, because he also had minor issues with Lil Mama, aka Bow Wow. The tension with Lil Zane and Bow Wow came about due to their youthful egos, as he explains. It appears while they were working together, Lil Zane and Bow Wow both appeared on set with the same jersey. They both wanted to wear the same jersey during the shoot, so the director on the set decided to settle the issue and let Lil Zane wear the jersey instead of Bow Wow. So what happened to Lil Zane? According to him, he was taken advantage of by his label, and he made a very grave mistake by not learning about the music business before he got into it. My only regret that I have right now in my career is not really taking my time in the early days to learn the business of it. I got taken advantage of a lot in the beginning because I didn't understand the business. I didn't know it was 90% business, 10% music. I wasn't thinking about that. Zane also said that the label talked him out of doing things that he really wanted to do. If you're doing something and it's working, don't let anyone take you away from that, he said. Zane is now a father, so he spends a lot of time schooling his kids and making sure they read often and get homework done. Lil Zane still drops music. In fact, his latest song is called Rolly, that dropped in 2020. He also has a song called Get Out Your Feelings, which came out in 2020, Alone, which came out in 2019, On My Way, which came out in the same year, and so on and so forth. Now I personally don't think anybody is looking out for a Lil Zane album. If he drops a project today, it probably won't even do 1,000 copies. Let's be real. But Lil Zane did his thing in the past, and let's hope that the money he made back then is enough to keep him afloat. Now from the looks of things, it appears like Lil Zane is involved in a little bit of acting once again, and appears to be working with 50 Cent on his new show called BMF. Lil Zane is still dropping music. In fact, he dropped a song called Weed Lady with Lil Scrappy. Lil Zane gets about 50,000 monthly listeners on Spotify, and his most popular songs on the platform are Calling Me, Hardball, None Tonight, and Ways of the World. That's it for me, man. It's your boy Ali. What happened to Lil Zane in your opinion? Let me know down below. If you have a video request, be sure to let me know as well. Also add me on Instagram at Ali Talks Music. New What Happened to video dropping next week. Till next time, adios amigo.